Today's baseline broke 70s radio. It was a smash from a rookie band that flew out of the gates with some interesting lyrics about a mysterious woman that took them to the top of the charts. But then, just as quickly as they went to the top of the charts, this band fell apart. And then they lost their record deal. Not once, but twice. Desperate to overcome the one-hit wonder label that had been put upon them, the band actually reformed a few years later and recorded a demo at a friend's studio with no record deal, just a demo. They actually recorded a song about what they were going through. It was a song about getting rejected by record labels and the quest for a hit song. And that song became their second hit and destroyed the one-hit wonder curse. Or did it? Turns out they were in trouble with the feds when a random phone number that they put into the song ended up being the phone number to the White House. Find out next as I track down this band after many, many years to find out where they are and what happened. Hey, music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. So many cool stories out there, we tell them here. If you remember the days when you spent forever walking around the video store trying to find that perfect movie to watch on a Saturday night, before everything was at your fingertips with streaming, you're going to dig this channel. It'll be right at home. Make sure to subscribe below so you don't miss out. Click the bell, all that good stuff, so you know when our latest interviews are dropping. Also, check out our exclusive content on Patreon and our latest merch below. You can get that there. I'm excited to bring you another episode from our series Revelations, where featured artists go very deep on their greatest songs and albums. Actually, this episode could have been a Bottle of Lightning episode. Today's is a good one. We talked to a surviving member of the 70s band Sugarloaf, whose Green-Eyed Lady has become a 70s classic.
Green-eyed lady, lovely lady.
Now, the band Sugarloaf started the 70s off with a bang as their debut single became an overnight smash, Green-Eyed Lady. Written by singer Jerry Corbetta and two others, this was an instant crowd pleaser with its ear-catching bass line and the laid-back, cool swagger of Corbetta's voice. The song was actually inspired by Corbetta's girlfriend at the time, Green-Eyed Lady. It hit number 1 on the RPM charts in Canada and hit number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. It was number 1 in various parts of the country, just at different times. And actually, Sugarloaf was not the original name of this band. Singer Jerry Corbetta and today's interview, guitarist Bob Weber, they had played together in a band called the Moonrakers for a few years, and then they formed the band Chocolate Hair, and this was the group that actually recorded Green-Eyed Lady. That's what they were called. But then just before they released it, the record label actually talked him into changing their name to Sugarloaf, which I guess was the name of a mountain in Colorado. Like I said, after the record went to number 1 in different parts of the US, the band went through a lot of changes, and they released their second album called Spaceship Earth, and it sputtered. The 2 singles from the album, Tongue in Cheek and Mother Nature's Wine, missed the top 40 altogether. During this time, the band toured with the likes of Deep Purple, and Eric Burdon and War, and The Who, and many others. And then all of a sudden, the band, everybody just left the group. And singer Jerry Corbetta was left with the band name. But basically, the band was broken up. And then to make matters worse, their label dropped him. And then Jerry Corbetta signed with Neil Bogart's Brute Records, I think it's called. The band actually came back together and they recorded a third album. That didn't do much either. And then that label folded. So they were in jeopardy once again of not having a label. So they went into a friend's studio in Denver and they recorded a new song. The song was a bit of a novelty. It was called Don't Call Us, We'll Call You, a song that eviscerated CBS Records, who had just turned them down for a recording contract. It had some real touch-tone phone sounds of a number being dialed at the beginning and the end of the song. And those were numbers, real numbers. An actual phone number of CBS Records and another that belonged to the White House. In fact, Jerry Corbetta would get a chastising call from somebody at the State Department. Anyway, this song ripped on the record industry, all that they had been through to get that one hit. And this song actually became a hit, and it saved him from being a one-hit wonder. It went to number 9.
He said, don't call us, child, we'll call you.
It actually spent more time on the charts than Green-Eyed Lady, if you can believe that. So up next, surviving member guitarist Bob Weber tells us the story behind both of these songs, and then what happened after that. So here is Mr. Bob Weber with the story of Green-Eyed Lady.
Green-eyed lady, ocean lady.
That was a late addition to the album. You know,
Sure
that
was.
wasn't even supposed to be on the album.
Yeah.
Tell me about that whole progression.
Yeah, we had done the tunes that you see on the album, and record executives said that they really didn't see a single. Well, okay, we probably didn't either. And we had been jamming on this riff, you know. Kind of just working that into our show. And we played that, and the producer said, that's it. That's the hit record. Now we need to write some lyrics and a melody for it. So we'd recorded this. It was in the December 69. And I was going to school here in Boulder. So went out, recorded it. I came back over the month of January. Jerry and David Reardon and John Phillips, who were in another band that the producer was involved with. He was doing records for them.
Mm-hmm.
And three of them got together and they came up with that vocal, with the melody and with the words.
Wave that comes.
And so I went back out. I had some additions I wanted to do on my lead, kind of cleaned it up a bit in a couple of places. And then they played the vocal and merged it with the rest of the song. And first time I heard it, I said, that's a hit record. I got on the phone with my wife and I said, that record is going to be a hit record. Now, it hadn't come out yet. It was still, it was in the studio on a 24-track tape, but it was nowhere to be found. But, and it came true.
She lives for life to be.
It did.
It did, yeah.
Not only was it number 1 in various parts of the U.S., it went to number 3 in the pop charts, but also number 1 in the Canada RPM charts.
Yes.
Huge there as well.
I just had somebody contact me from Canada, and they sent me a few of the local hit parade charts from those days, showing it was number 1. And I mean that felt good.
Green-eyed lady feels like I never see.
We ended up wanting to go back in the studio, so pretty much poured everything we had into the second album. And the second album was great musically, but it was kind of a different band because we had the new guitar player and singer and songwriter, Bob Yazel, and his songs were so well crafted and great as songwriter songs. We just kind of brought him in and said, we want to make you a part of this. So we went away from that B3, the real clean riff to, some very, very well orchestrated and multi-layered productions, walls of harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back in retrospect, I think we took our eye off of the number 1 thing, which was the sound that Green-Eyed Lady had. Now, I'm sure that artist relations folks and producers and record company people would say, yeah, you finally got it. Well, it's too late now, but.
Green-eyed lady, windswept lady.
Your approach to the solo and just really putting that together from those guitar parts that you've been showing me.
Yep. So the solo, I'll take you back one step. There was a band that I was in called Baker's Opera Company, which had a number of the people from Sugarloaf and some people that would end up that were in the Moonrakers. This is the time of Ravi Shankar. And I was really a fan of Ravi Shankar. So I got a sitar and I learned how to play it. And we'd be in front of 5,000 people, and I'd be on one of these big pillows playing the sitar, and the drummer would be playing tabla. I mean, it was really, we didn't have the right to be doing that. We were just, a bunch of rock and roll players, and that's spiritual music to Ravi Shankar. So. Anyway, I was studying ragas. I was into the sitar. So when it came time for that Green-Eyed Lady lead, I called on a raga scale to play it rather than, your basic pentatonic or, I was using this, a little different. And then I've always been a fan of Wes Montgomery. I wanted to be a jazz guitar player when I was growing up, and rock and roll just got in the way, which was a good thing. But so I did. So, it was a combination of a raga scale and the octaves pushed along by the intensity of the tempo. Tempo is like a 160. It's like 165 beats per minute. Everything that you hear nowadays is 90, 95, and that's pushing it. Everything's got to be right in that groove. So, I mean, we're playing right on the edge of being able to manage it, as far as our chops went. So, that being pushed along by the tempo, by the drums, by Corbetta on the organ, that's how it evolved into that. It still stands the test of time now, which is what I'm happy about that. I'm proud about that. So all those things, we weren't copying, but those things influenced us. That's what we played when we were jamming. That's what we listened to when we weren't playing. So that helped to form that, what you heard on Green-Eyed Lady. And that's what I'm talking about. If we would have stayed with that thing that we had defined, maybe things, maybe we would have been a big band right up until, now. Who knows? Yeah. But we kind of lost sight and we took a different path.
Green-eyed lady, ocean lady.
How did it come about? Green-eyed lady. Where did that really come from?
I wasn't there in the room when those guys wrote it. The songwriters that helped Jerry lived in LA, and I know they spent time at the beach, and I've got to believe that was an influence, but I wasn't in the room. I was back here sitting in CU engineering school, probably studying advanced mathematics or some other weird thing, and those guys are out writing hit records.
Child of nature, friend of man.
We'd go out and we'd play gigs every 3 weeks. We'd go fly out somewhere and play some gigs. But I was living in Denver and Corbetta was living in LA, and he was trying to get his producer chops, and he was doing a lot of co-writing with people and just trying to widen his network of musicians and people that he was co-writing with and performing with. But he still had the feeling that he wanted to have the band. He wanted the band. So we got together and we did a lot of work here in Denver, and we went out to LA, went studio instrument rentals, did a lot of rehearsal. And that's how that album, the Brood album, I Got a Song, evolved. And there was a lot of influence from outside songwriters. Mm-hmm. We did some of that at A&M Records, A&M Studios, which that was a I mean, talk about being in a revered holy place. You know, A&M Records at that time was just about as trendy as you could get. You know, started out with Herb Alpert and Jerry Moss, but I mean, it evolved to being the place to record. So we got the chance to record there. And, you know, there are some good songs, very good songs on that album, but it just, we didn't get any push. We tried to go out and support the album, but we just didn't get any push. So that kind of ended up being the next thing that happened, which was a repackaging with Don't Call Us, We'll Call You. And that was, Don't Call Us was something we were just jamming. We were in a studio in Denver. So that was the riff. Jerry sat down with John Carter. He was a guy who had come from Denver, played in some bands in Denver, and was a record executive for Capitol and a songwriter. So they got together and came up with a kind of a novelty song. It's kind of clever. It's certainly not Green Eyed Lady, but it caught the ear of the country. And it shot up into the top 10. I think it made it to 9. And we sold hundreds of thousands of units.
She said, don't call us, child, we'll call you.
The riff is the thing that really grabs you at first, what you just played.
This one?
I mean, yeah.
And then this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a cop from I Feel Fine, the Beatles, right? But that's, you know, like John, Paul, George, and Ringo.
That sounds like John, Paul, and George.
The artist is calling A&R and saying, you know, I'm Mr. Blues. And the A&R says, yeah, let me put you on hold. To say the least, the cat was cold. Don't call us, we'll call you.
Mama, so don't call us, now we'll call you.
So that was any number of probably recreated anecdotes of our producer, Frank Slay, perhaps Jerry himself, trying to go to people, trying to network with people. And they say, oh, yeah, hey, Jerry, nice meeting you, man. I'll give you a call. Okay. Never happens.
Never.
Right.
Right.
And so
the most used line in Hollywood entertainment history, right?
Yeah,
I'll give you a call.
Absolutely.
You'll hear back from us.
Absolutely. And so that, you know, don't call us, we'll call you. Yeah, it's a widely used term. So that's how that ended up being brought into the chorus.
You know,
we're still waiting.
Still waiting for that call.
Yeah. But I tell you, the thing that happened out of that album and out of that single, we were known as a one-hit wonder. When Don't Call Us hit top 10, now you got 2 songs. Now you got 2 hit songs.
Now you're not a one-hit wonder.
So, I mean, that strengthens the stage show like you can't even imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we ended up, we did a tour of Styx. We did a tour of the Guess Who. And I mean, it was really, it was a powerful thing to be able to go out there and space those 2 songs and, you know, really put a powerful show.
And quite a space between those 2. But what was also cool about it is sticking it to the man and getting away with it. Right?
Well,
in a way.
The man's still there, you know.
And thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment about Sugarloaf and the 70s classic Green Eyed Lady. What are your memories of this song? Do you remember their second hit as well? Let's have a great conversation below. What do you think? What other 2-hit or 3-hit wonders should we cover? I hate to call them a 3-hit wonder because they're not a wonder because they had a couple of hits, but it's just fun to talk about these bands, the highs and the lows. It's the most interesting part of what we do, I swear. Anyway, if you like our content, we do invite you to subscribe below. We'd love to have you as part of our community. And make sure to check us out on Patreon and to check out our new merch. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends.